Hey guys, welcome to the channel. My name is Derek, and I am currently building a Jeep WJ that I picked up about a month ago. I've got a small lift on it with some Rubicon wheels I picked up, and some 32s for now, but I'm going to be going 6.5 inch long arm with 35s very soon. Custom bumpers, going to be cutting out all the fenders, everything like that. But for today, we're going to be going over this JK on 38s. So I'm going to let my buddy Peyton kind of fill you in on everything and his inspiration behind the build. So Peyton, you had a TJ before this one, right?
Yep, so I had a 02 yellow TJ. It was a 5-speed, had it on 3 inches of lift, I believe, on 33s.
Okay.
And then I sold that, bought a Subaru, and like 8 months later, turned around and bought this.
How to get out of the Outback?
Yeah, I needed a daily driver, and it turns out that I couldn't live without my Jeep, so decided to get back into the Jeep family.
Okay, and is there a reason that you picked a certain model?
I definitely wanted the Pentastar engine on the JKU, so I knew that I was going 2012 to present, and I decided that I really liked the Moab edition. It stood out to me because I actually went to Moab the year that I bought this thing, and from there I just really liked the idea of rock crawling and all that stuff. So I saw that they had a Moab edition, started looking into that a little bit, and I've always been a fan of AEV, and AEV actually makes a lot of the components that came stock on the Moab edition. So in paying the retail price of a Jeep, you get all those components.
Is there a reason that you went to an auto over a standard like you had in the TJ?
So I test drove a standard in the newer modern Jeeps, and I didn't care for it as much. Just coming from the TJ, I liked those a lot better. And so I decided let's go automatic, especially since I was doing daily driving with this.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, so what does this thing have, stock drivetrain or?
No, so stock with Moab edition, it comes like a Jeep Sahara would, and that is with a Dana 30 up front and a 44 in the rear. The rear is limited slip, but I decided that I wanted to put a lot bigger tires on this thing. So I was actually going to go 37s, but decided to go 38s. And with the 38s, I ended up needing to change the front axle because the Dana 30 wasn't going to hold up. So decided to go with the ultimate Dana 44. And we've got 488 gears, locker in the front, and limited slip in the rear.
Okay, cool. So you're running the 38s. What tires are those?
We've got the Patagonia Milestar 38 by 13.5s, and they're sitting on AEV Pentler wheels. I decided to go with the black on those.
Nice, 13.5, man, those are wide.
Yeah.
So I see you have it's obviously lifted, but you have a small lift on it, don't you?
Yeah, it's only 2.5 inch lift. We decided to go with the AEV. I sort of pieced together the lift. It originally came with a rock crawler lift, and the rock crawler lift ended up, the springs were really sagging, and it wasn't a great ride quality for the overland lifestyle. We're packing the Jeep up real heavy and going on trips. So it's actually just running the AEV springs, but I've got Fox 2.0 shocks and rock crawler components for the control arms and things.
Okay, cool. And then your track bars and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, so we're going with the Steer Smarts Yeti components. So track bar, steering stabilizer, tie rods, all that is matching, and it's very, very strong components. I highly recommend them. I'm also running the JKS quick disconnects, and those are a must-have for running trails. I really like the look of the brush guard on the front. So Maximus 3 actually makes a hoop that you can bolt right onto this, and it looks exactly like AEV has it from the factory. Also, something we did is the front is stubby bumper, and AEV doesn't offer this on the JK. So these are actually cut and professionally capped, so that way it gives you that stubby bumper look. We're running a Smitty-built XRC winch up front with a synthetic line. Haven't had to use that too much, so thank goodness.
So it's 38s.
Yeah.
38s and lockers, you can go anywhere you want.
Yeah.
And then how about your lights?
So
You
the
got some
lights,
cool headlights.
the lights are JW speaker headlights with the matching fog lights that go in the bumper. Awesome headlights. They make a huge difference, especially with this model stock headlights are just not good.
Okay.
And then I'm running the aux beam cube lights on the pillars. Those are just a set that I found on Amazon, and they've proven to be pretty good actually. The flares are pretty new as of this year. Got the Nemesis fenders. Those are the Odyssey, the wide version in the front, and then we've got the Notorious flare in the rear. My plan is to paint match those. Right now they're just the aluminum bare finish, but those will be paint matched white to match everything else. And then for the rock rails, these are stock for the Moab edition. These are just the standard Mopar rock rails that come with it.
Nice, and those are holding up fine?
Yeah, they've got some scratches underneath and everything, and they've been perfectly fine.
All right, Peyton, so we're in the back now, and what do you got going on back here?
So again, with the Moab edition, the rear bumper is AEV stock. It doesn't come with the tire carrier, and you'll notice that I am missing the end cap containers here. So these were actually water containers, but I had to remove them because we had to fit the 38s, and with the containers in there, they wouldn't fit. So I'm gonna fabricate something to go in its place. And then you'll notice the tire carrier was added to fit the AEV bumper. It is the AEV tire carrier, plenty strong enough to hold this size tire and all the other weight that's on it right now. I have a high lift jack mounted to it with a CB antenna, and then we actually have the fuel caddy made by AEV. Haven't had to use that yet, but great addition, and I love the look of how it integrates with the spare and the bumper and everything.
Peyton, is that a rear axle stock?
So the rear axle is stock. It's got chromalloy axle shafts in it, and like I said, 488s. It's got the limited slip that comes factory with it. I'm also running the matching diff cover as the front, and then we've got the same Fox shocks in the back and extended brake lines. They're steel braided, so those will hold up for a long time. Up top, this was the fun part. With the removable top on a Jeep, it's difficult to decide on what rack and roof tint options that you want to do. So with the rack, I decided that I really like the Rhino rack, and I narrowed it down to the one that Rhino rack sells for the Jeep. Or I found that Maximus 3 had a version that was basically the same, and it was very similar except in the fact that this one is a lot more low profile than the one that Rhino rack offers. The top platform is still Rhino rack, but the components that mount it to the top are Maximus 3. The other thing that I really like about Maximus 3 is it has a ladder that can attach to the side. So I ended up going with it on the driver's side. You can also do it on the passenger side as well, but it does require you to drill into the body of the Jeep.
Okay. And you liking the tent?
Yeah, so I ended up pre-ordering the Tepui high box tent. This was right when it came out, and it took about 6 months by the time I ordered it to get it in. And it's been a really good tent so far. It was really tricky figuring out how to mount it to the rack, and that's because you can't get your hand inside of this space to bolt anything from the underside. So I had to come up with some solution to get it to bolt on to where I could get it on there and not have it with a crazy amount of space in between itself and the rack. So I talked with Joe at Maximus 3, and he had me take dimensions, and we ended up making a prototype to fit this tent to this rack. And what it does is it slides into the gutters of the rack and bolts in from underneath the mattress up into the tent. So I've been really liking that, and I've been running that for a couple years now, and it's held up.
Sweet. Hey, thanks for sharing your Jeep with us today. I look forward to the update video.
Yeah, thanks.